Dan Orlovsky grew up dreaming of playing for Boston College. Tonight, he leads Connecticut into BC for the Big East opener for both teams. Boston College owns the nation's longest bowl win streak, and the Eagles are unified in their quest for a BCS berth.
Woo! Friday night! Baby. Woo! Let's go, baby!
A rivalry that never was and never will be. Connecticut plays its first Big East game as an official member of the conference, while Boston College plays its final season in the Big East before leaving for the ACC next year. Welcome to Alumni Stadium in Chestnut Hill, Massachusetts. College football primetime. Alongside Rod Gilmore and Trevor Matich, I'm Dave Pash. And guys, only about 90 miles separate these two schools, but this might be the last time they play each other for a while. However, it won't be the last time that we get to see Connecticut quarterback Dan Orlovsky. He'll likely be playing in the National Football League next year.
Who is this guy, Dan Orlovsky? I mean, we know that the NFL scouts have him listed as one of the top 5 quarterbacks available next year in the draft. But why? Well, he's a big, strong quarterback at about 6'5", but it's the presence in the pocket, the intangibles, and also the quick feet, the ability to throw on the move, which makes him, Trevor, the focal point of the UConn offense.
But Boston College believes that they have the answer to Orlovsky. In his sophomore year, Matthias Kiwanuka led the Big East in sacks. Now he's back for his junior year, and while Orlovsky looks downfield to work his magic, there will be a very dangerous pass rusher lurking in the weeds.
And there's more to Kiwi than just his football acumen. More on that later. Boston College in Connecticut. The kickoff is next.
ESPN2's College Football Primetime. Brought to you by Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. Life's good between Reese's Cups.
Welcome back to Boston, BC, and UConn. Coming up just a moment. First, let's check in with the 4th member of our crew down on the sidelines, Rob Stone. Rob?
Well, Dave, building a nationally recognizable and respected program from almost scratch, beginning to become the norm here at the University of Connecticut. Head coach Randy Edsall on the verge of doing just that, and he's done it the Connecticut way, just like head men's basketball coach Jim Calhoun did when he signed guard Chris Smith. You have to ink that big-time in-state stud to give you validity. He's got that in QB Dan Orlovsky. Secondly, you got to eat a lot of those chicken dinners. Got to go to those meetings, clubs, athletic get-togethers. Sell your program, chicken dinner to chicken dinner. And finally, go to those who blaze the UConn success path. Jim Calhoun, Gino Auriemma, pick their brains. Guys, the blueprint has been followed. Their next step, a big-time victory on national television.
And Rob Edsall in his 6th year, 9-3 last year, but they did not go to a bowl game. It's a humid night, 70 degrees. We're expecting showers shortly here in the Boston area. Boston College wins the toss and defers, so UConn will receive. Ryan Oliger to boot it away for Boston College. He's a true freshman. He also kicks field goals, and BC's punter is also a true freshman. Tyvon Branch and Alan Barnes set to return for Connecticut. And the Big East opener is underway in 2004. And having trouble with it is Connecticut. But a decent return out to about the 16. Well, no, the fumble on the play, and Boston College has it. Boston College comes up with the fumble. Jolan Dunbar comes up with it. Silva had the hit, and he's a big hitter.
Well, the trouble started even before the ball was caught, as the return man slipped down when he tried to get to the ball.
Well, he's going backwards to try to get it, and when it hits him, all the timing leaves, all the expectation leaves. Now all of a sudden it's street ball. He doesn't put the ball away, and Boston College is able to pull it out.
So Barnes coughs it up on the opening kick, in Boston College with great field position. First down at the UConn 13. It's a running play, and Andre Callender, who started the year as the number 3 running back, is now the starter. Paul Peterson is the starting quarterback. He is 5-0 as the starting QB at BC, with wins over number 12 Virginia Tech last year and Penn State last week. His style has welcomed comparisons to another diminutive BC quarterback, Doug Flutie.
Well, that 6'1" can't be true then if we're comparing him to Flutie.
Now, he told us, well, we said the next one is about 5'9".
No, that's not 6'1".
Second down and 9. Play fake. And this is where Peterson's dangerous. Going to the end zone. Touchdown, BC. Joel Hazard.
How many times have we seen Doug Flutie get outside and find the throwing lane? That's exactly what Peterson does here. He finds it and gets it to his man, Hazard.
And Rod, the things that amazes me as you compare to Flutie's style is that Peterson never even slows down running. When he throws this ball, it's on a full run.
Oliger's extra point is good. Not a good start for Randy Edsall. They fumble the opening kickoff. BC recovers on the UConn 13. 2 plays later, the Eagles have a 7-0 lead. First touchdown catch of the year for Joel Hazard, a senior from Marietta, Georgia. And the Paul Peterson magic continues early on. The 24-year-old, who is in his first year as a full-time starter, makes another play with his feet and then uses the arm to find the open receiver.
And what it does, it has the effect of a boxer getting in the first punch as soon as the bell rings. Because this is a straight jab to the jaw. Boston College to UConn, fumble the opening kickoff, and right away they throw a touchdown pass. This is the way Boston College wanted to start.
Didn't UConn just kind of punch themselves in the jaw?
I think they shot themselves in the foot. Take a look at Peterson. As he makes this fake and rolls out to his right, he will not stop and set his feet, even though there's no pressure. He keeps running, and bam! He throws a perfect pass, and when he releases that ball, Hazard isn't even in the television picture. Great accuracy on the move.
Branch and Barnes set to receive the second kickoff for BC, and there's Barnes, who caught it up the first time. Oliger from the 35. And this is an excellent kick, and Branch won't even give it a shot. So Connecticut will start on the 20-yard line. Dan Orlovsky is the UConn quarterback. 66 career touchdowns. That's second best among active college quarterbacks. Looking, guys, to become the first UConn player to get drafted into the NFL in 10 years.
Count on that one. He is going to be drafted. He's considered to be one of the top 5 quarterbacks. He's got all the stuff you look for in a quarterback. Great size, good presence in the pocket, good arm.
Did not have a touchdown pass last week against Duke. That ended a 25-game streak in which he threw at least 1 touchdown pass. So UConn goes shotgun on first down at the 20. Orlovsky under pressure from Kiwanuka. He still gets it off and completes it for about an 8-yard gain to Cornell Brockington. Ardosecki's starting lineups. Orlovsky has some guys to throw to.
Well, keep your eye on Karan Henry, number 1. You see him to the far right of your screen. He's a former starting quarterback who's made the transition to wide receiver very well.
Henry had a career-high 8 catches for 112 yards in the win over Duke, a game in which UConn trailed in the 4th quarter and scored 16 straight points to win that game by 2. 2nd and 2 from the UConn 28. It's Brockington. He's got the first down as he hammers forward to about the 34-yard line for a 6-yard gain. Now, UConn has a pretty good group up front.
Well, the tackles, Ryan Krug, Grant Preston, are the ones that will have to block Kiwanuka all game long. He will shift back and forth to the open side away from the tight end all game long, and these tackles are going to have a long day.
Kiwanuka, at least 1 sack in 11 straight games. 6'7". He's up to 260 pounds. Came to BC at about 200. First down for UConn from its 34. Orlovsky under pressure again from Kiwanuka, and a couple of flags fly in. Incomplete pass. Kiwanuka's getting to Orlovsky early. And a penalty against UConn for holding. Jack Kramer, our referee for tonight's Big East opener.
Holding, offense, penalties imply, second down.
Randy Edsall's team off to a poor start, down 7-0. And BC on defense, the linebacking core led by Ray Henderson, the co-Big East Defensive Player of the Week. 2 picks last week against Penn State.
Secondary, Will Blackman. He's a top underclassman corner out there and will be matched up with Henry.
Big kid, about 200 pounds, 6'2". Orlovsky on 2nd and 10. Sack. Phil Metling with the sack. It'll be 3rd down and long.
Well, Kiwanuka is part of this. He sacked Orlovsky the last play. Metling on the top of your screen, 93, is going to come in with Orlovsky looking at Kiwanuka. Metling comes in on the blind side and takes him down. Now, Kiwanuka gets a good bull rush on Preston. Orlovsky's focused there, but from the backside comes Metling.
Got to be impressed by his power as well as the first step to get off.
He's all the way up into the 260s now, and he still looks skinny, but he can bring strength.
So 3rd and 19, and they hand it off to Brockington. And he gets back to about the original line of scrimmage, the 33, before T.J. Stansel makes the tackle. And UConn will be forced to punt. Tom O'Brien's done a great job at Boston College. The only team in college football to win 4 consecutive bowl games. Really an underrated program that they have here in Chestnut Hill.
When you think about what he's done turning this program around after a gambling scandal, it's just remarkable.
Yeah, 8 years ago took over for Dan Henning, and they've been winning ever since. 6 straight years with an offensive lineman drafted, 6 straight years with a 1,000-yard back, and they always haven't had first-round draft picks in that backfield. Shane Hussar waiting to boot it away to Blackman, who returned a punt for a touchdown in the first game, but it was called back because of a penalty. He signaled for the fair catch, and flags fly. BC recovers the ball. I don't know if Blackman touched it. But Justin Perkins for Connecticut was all over Blackman as he was trying to fair catch it.
Dave, UConn just seems tight to me. They've had 3 or 4 mistakes at the start of this ball game.
And they've been critical mistakes. There's a, well, he's not paying attention to where Blackman is. There's a 2-yard halo circle around the returner that you cannot enter until he catches the ball. And this was just not a good move by this young man. And I agree with you, Rod. They do look very tight. This is their first Big East game in their history, and they're coming out making some mistakes, and I think that's because they're too keyed up.
Keyed up. A lot of fans making the trip here for them. So much emphasis on this ball game for them, and they start off with a fumble, a drop kick, and then a penalty here, and then a touchdown scored on the second play.
This also, guys, is the first time that Connecticut football is on national television. They're going to be on about 4 or 5 times on ESPN and ESPN2, and we get the first crack.
And I'll tell you this is not representative of what we've seen of this program. This is a very good program. They'll pull it back together.
But they're down 7-0 early in the first. Boston College leads 7-0 and has excellent field position for its second possession. First down from its 42-yard line. Paul Peterson, the BC quarterback, already with a touchdown pass. 4 TD passes, no interceptions in the last 1+ game. And not much on the carry as Callender is taken down by Sean Main. We return to our Dos Equis starting lineups. Take a look at the skill players for BC.
And Andre Callender is the key here. Freshman running back making his first start ever. Had a big game off the bench against Penn State last week. The question now, can he handle the pressure, give the same production to take the pressure off of the passing game?
Boston College likes to call plays to the strength of their players, but Dana Bible, the offensive coordinator, was frank and said, I don't know what to call for Callender. I didn't see him until last week. On 2nd and 10, Peterson to the air. And he has Callender out of the backfield. Past the 50 and down to the 40-yard line for a gain of about 18 yards and a first down. Maurice Lloyd on the tackle. And the offensive line for Boston College, very good.
Yeah, you saw it on that play, but a great matchup to watch. Jeremy Trueblood, the left tackle, number 72, a big guy, about 6'9". He'll be going up against Tyler King, number 52. You see him on the right side, who will show up in front of Trueblood most of the evening.
First time in Tom O'Brien's 8 years that he does not have a senior on that offensive line. But they've got guys 6'7", 6'8", 6'9", not much up the middle for Callender. Minimal gain. Maurice Lloyd with another stop for UConn. The linebackers for Connecticut, an underrated group.
And Alfred Fincher in the middle, one of the best. This group is one of the finest groups in the nation. And when you talk about the freshman running back, Andre Callender, they have a very active group of linebackers to face him.
And the DBs are led by cornerback Justin Perkins, who had an interception return for a touchdown, got UConn back in the game last week against Duke. No gain on the previous play. 2nd and 10 from the Connecticut 41. Play fake, and Peterson has a man over the middle. Gain of about 9 on the play. Catch made by Tony Gonzalez. Ernest Cole with the stop. 3rd down and short coming up. And Callender getting some work done on that hand. The good news for BC is they have other guys that can put in their running back.
They do, but they're all untested right now. A.J. Brooks gets one of his first shots. They've got a lot of guys, but none of them do the coaches know much about under game pressure.
Brooks is a true freshman who fumbled last week. 3rd down and short. It's Brooks. Going to be pretty close. Depends on the spot. Lloyd with another tackle for the Huskies. We'll see where they spot it.
I like that play. Giving the ball to Brooks. He fumbled, as you mentioned last week. He's a freshman. You got to give him the ball and get him going, because you're going to need him during the season. Offensive coordinator Dana Bible knows that, and he goes to him in a key situation there.
And he actually had a great week of practice. That's one of the things that Tom O'Brien told us, was that he showed in practice with his effort that he wanted to make amends for that fumble. And so he gets a shot here.
And it is enough for the 1st down. And Bible will probably give it to him again after he comes through on that play.
Dana Bible to the far right there. He's been the offensive coordinator here for several years and spent some time in the National Football League and also out in the Pac-10.
And it's funny, when we asked about his quarterback, his receivers, he told us all about them. When we asked about the running backs, he said, hey guys, I don't know either. I'm interested to see like you are.
Peterson perfect passing so far. 3 for 3 on 1st down. He looks to throw again, and he's going deep. And it's incomplete. No flag down. Incidental contact. Grant Adams, the intended receiver, the go-to guy for Boston College at wideout. Ernest Cole banged up for UConn.
Let's go back and take a look at the play that shows Callender getting hurt in the middle of that pile there. We saw them working on his finger on the sideline.
Yeah, he's already holding that finger. It looks like it. It's like he doesn't want that thing to move. I don't know if it's dislocated or what the issue is, but he knows right away, and off the field he comes.
Dr. Trevor now.
Well, I said I didn't know.
You kind of need your hands to play running back, though. Another play fake on 2nd down, and Peterson, again, so dangerous with the feet, gets about 4 or 5 to the 26. Matt Applebaum with a tackle.
Guys, they haven't had a quarterback at Boston College like this guy in a long time, since Flutie. You recall them having the big quarterbacks like Hasselbeck, Brian St. Pierre last year, 2 years ago, I'm sorry. This guy gives them the ability to get to the edge and to be unpredictable and make a second play, not the first play that's called.
And in this case, it's 3rd and 5 instead of 3rd and 10 because of his running ability.
Play number 8 on this drive. Peterson. And it's picked off by Perkins for Connecticut.
How about Justin Perkins? He said going into the season he wanted to get 10 picks this year because he dropped 6 of them last year. He eats this route up and he doesn't drop this one. You see Peterson staring it down. Perkins reads it and jumps all over it.
And staring down was the problem. That's how Perkins knew when to jump in front of that receiver.
You said he needs 10 or wants 10. He's already got 2. And this is big for him 2 years ago here at BC. He tore up his knee. First game of the year early in the 2nd half. Did not play the rest of the season. Running play for Connecticut on 1st down, and Brockington's got some room. Finally banged out a play past the 30 to the 32. Silva with a tackle, but a 16-yard pickup for Cornell Brockington, a sophomore.
That Brockington name sounds very familiar as you watch Cornell Brockington come off the right side. Good blocking. He can take a blow. I think I remember a John Brockington back at Ohio State back in the day. That's his relative.
You've been taking ginkgo. That's a good memory.
Orlovsky again hit by Kiwanuka just as he releases it, but it's complete to the 40-yard line. Kiwanuka's been all over Orlovsky in the first half.
He uses his inside move. Jeremy Trueblood, who's BC's tackle that has to play against Kiwanuka in practice, told us that Kiwanuka's favorite move and best move is up the field and then dart inside, and he has 2 hits on the quarterback on that move so far.
Second and short. Orlovsky changes the play. Play clock at 1. Just gets it off, and Brockington's got a hole. Up near the 47-yard line. Will Blackman finally on the stop. UConn able to run the ball on this drive.
Well, you saw Orlovsky at the line change the play. He counted the guys inside, and he saw there were so many guys inside that he had to get the play change and go outside. If you can count to 7 or 8, you can be a quarterback.
And you know what he also saw was Kiwanuka on that left side. They blocked down on him. That's one way to slow down a speed rusher up the field. Crack back on him and run right at him.
Orlovsky drops into the shotgun. You see the play clock now at 5. Orlovsky. Here's that jailbreak play. Caught by Karan Henry, not much. Gain of about 2. Last Saturday, Notre Dame defeated Michigan at the Big House. This Saturday, Darius Walker and the Fighting Irish look to build on that win as they take on Michigan State at 7 Eastern. It's also available in high definition on ESPN HD. Call your cable operator, DirecTV, or the Dish Network today. And then at 10 Eastern, USC and BYU. That's tomorrow on ESPN. Second down and 8 from midfield. On the delay, Brockington. Maybe 2. Brian Toll with his 3rd tackle already, and Toll is considered one of the highest, best recruits that they've had at BC in a while.
And take a look at what they do. They know Kiwanuka's going to go riding up the field, so they let him go and run up underneath him. One way to counter a speed rusher.
5 carries, 41 yards for Brockington so far. Shotgun on 3rd and 5. Orlovsky's pass caught at the 35-yard line by Matt Kataya, and a first down for UConn. TJ Stansel on the tackle.
You want to know why Orlovsky is a top 5 quarterback? Watch him make this throw. This is a bullet into a very small space. Look at that. That is arm strength. That is quick release. Look how small this space is. And he threads the needle.
Orlovsky attended Boston College's camp for 3 years when he was in high school, but BC did not offer him a scholarship. He wanted to come here, but they didn't want him. 3rd time he's played against BC in his career. He's a senior. And on that handoff to Brockington, gain of maybe 1. Ray Henderson made the tackle.
Dave, you talked about that quarterback situation. As you see, that UConn has never beaten Boston College. But remember, Orlovsky was being recruited by Boston College along with another quarterback, and they were only looking for 1 that season.
And that kid that you're talking about is actually being redshirted this year and will be the quarterback next year. It came down to Quentin Porter as the catch is made by Henry, and Paul Peterson, the current starting quarterback for BC, and they decided to redshirt Porter.
And Tom O'Brien told us yesterday, he said, well, you know, yeah, we liked him, but, you know, he made a decision. We liked somebody else a little bit better. And I know the kid's going to come out. He's got a chip on his shoulder about us, and he's probably going to try and kill us. That's just the way it goes.
Play clock under 10 on 3rd and 6 from the BC 30. BC blitzes. And it's a run play, and the Eagles are not fooled. Larry Anam, backup safety, with the tackle, and a late flag flies in at the 22-yard line.
But Trevor, I like the call. I like the call because you're in 2-down territory, and you can run on 3rd down, get closer, and then have a run-pass option on 4th down. I like that call.
Yeah, and I think they may be in 4th down territory. It'll be interesting to see if they give the ball to Matt Newsy, the kicker, sophomore.
I got him for a hold, and
I don't know. What do you do, though?
push him back.
I don't know that you do that.
Illegal block below the waist against the offense. Number 80, 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Still 3rd down.
Now that's a costly penalty.
So do you agree with this move by Tom O'Brien to take the penalty instead of putting Newsy on the field for a long field goal? I like the move.
I like it because you move them out of field goal range and you put them in a 3rd and forever. Well, they got 3rd and about 21 here.
You're asking a lot. Even though he's a great quarterback, you're asking a lot. 3rd down to 21. Orlovsky in trouble and almost throws a pick over the head of Bellamy, the intended receiver. Jasmine Williams had that ball hung up there a little bit longer. Might have had an interception and a touchdown the other way. Bill Metling with the pressure.
Trevor, Kiwanuka is getting so much attention that Metling is having a nice ball game.
Well, it's Orlovsky that's looking at Kiwanuka, and so his eyes aren't anywhere else, and so when Metling comes in there, he's got a little bit extra time to approach before Orlovsky reacts to him.
Will Blackman getting ready to receive the Shane Hussar punt. Blackman played 88 snaps against Ball State defense and special teams. Hussar trying to angle it, but it goes right to Blackman, and not much on the return to about the 13-yard line. Alan Barnes with the tackle for Connecticut. 34-yard punt, return of 2. BC leads Connecticut late in the first, 7-0.
ESPN2's College Football Primetime, brought to you by Kia Motors. Kia, make every mile count. And Guinness Draft Stout. Drink responsibly. Brilliant.
Welcome back to Alumni Stadium. Boston College on top, 7-0. BC, a couple early minor injuries. We saw fullback or running back Andre Callender leave. Dr. Trev, you almost had it right. They thought it was a dislocation at first of his right middle finger, instead just a jam. They taped it, put the glove on, retaped it, and then starting tight end Dave Cachetta jammed his left pinky in warm-ups, catching the ball. Let's see how good he is handling the rock.
And Rob, thank you. He is maybe the best tight end that Tom O'Brien has had as Callender gets the carry and picks up maybe 1 to the 15. Al Fincher on the stop. There have been a lot of good tight ends, a lot of great players at Boston College since Tom O'Brien took over under interesting circumstances after all the gambling issues that involved both the football and basketball teams here at BC.
Yeah, it was a dark day back about 8 years ago for Boston College when O'Brien had to take over the program. The basketball and football gambling, a number of players involved. They came in and clean house. They had losing records the first 2 seasons, and he's been on a streak since then.
On 2nd and 8, Peterson to the air, has tons of time. Great throw, but it's incomplete. Lilly, the intended receiver, and there comes the flag. MJ Estep was on his back, and it'll be an interference call. The throw is right there, though.
I'm interested in seeing the replay because you are allowed to both make a play for the ball. Defensive back cannot go through the receiver, but he's got his left hand wrapped around him, and you can't get by with that. You've got to be sneakier. That left arm is wrapped around the waist, and the back judge sees it.
And how tight is that throw? Because that is not just tight coverage, it's so tight it's illegal, and yet it was a pinpoint throw by Peterson.
Well, guys, we talk so much about his running ability, but he can throw the football now. Pretty accurate.
And part of his ability to throw is his ability to see the field. When he's back in the pocket, he sees the whole field. He knows exactly where the ball needs to go.
No penalties yet on BC. BC penalized 21 times in the first 2 games combined. Running play on first down, and Callender keeps his balance to the 45 and down to the 49. Alan Barnes in the tackle, gain of close to 20 for Callender.
Good running backs can always make a guy miss. The offensive line can get you in and out of the hole. Now, they do it here. Now, can the back make a guy miss? And he does right there. That's what Callender has to bring to the table.
And this is a huge offensive line and huge fullbacks as well. And part of what you do when you've got a fast linebacking core like UConn has is take your huge offensive lineman and blast straight forward.
Saw that average height of 6'6". They've got one guy 6'7", a one 6'8", and a one 6'9". Peterson to throw. Again, a nice pocket to throw to. A throw from, I should say, as Callender catches it out of the backfield. His second reception. Hargrave on the tackle. Gain of about 4 or so. And Rob Stone has more on Andre Callender.
Yeah, he came off the bench last week to really spark the team versus Penn State, obviously starting today, but it's not exactly to say the coaches are ready to retire his number. You know, quotes yesterday ranged from, we were hopeful he'd get through the line of scrimmage on his first play to, we'll send some new plays out for him, see how he can handle it. One reason he's been low on the depth chart, though, guys, the death of his great-grandmother forced him to miss fall camp. He had to leave camp twice.
Redshirt freshman gets it again on 2nd down and 6, and a couple of yards on that carry. Tyler King made the stop.
But just to follow up Rob's point, if you think about missing fall camp as a redshirt freshman, you didn't get a lot of playing time your freshman year, your true freshman year. You were on the scout team. You got a little bit of work in the spring. Then you show up and you have to miss a lot of the camp. You don't get the reps. They don't know what you can do. So it's a leap of faith to put him out there.
And it's not just knowing what you can do running the ball. It's pass protection. If you can't identify blitzers and then pick them up, you can't play. And when you miss fall camp as a freshman, that's hard to do.
Rod, I think you made the point in our meetings today earlier that BC is almost like the Denver Broncos offensive line. You can put anybody at running back, not anybody, but a lot of guys at running back and have success. And Peterson in trouble, but able to elude pressure and takes off. And he's got the first down as he slides past the 40. Paul Peterson with a touchdown pass and some nifty moves in the run game, so to speak. And Peterson and the Eagles lead Connecticut 7-0 after 1 quarter here in Chestnut Hill. Welcome back to Boston. The BC Eagles lead the UConn Huskies 7-0 after 1 quarter of play. And the game pretty even, guys, with the exception of the mistake in the kicking game for Connecticut. Time of possession, even. 78 total yards for BC and 67 for UConn. Rushing yards, even. Passing yards, BC 42, UConn 35.
And Peterson has a lot of those rushing yards for Boston College.
First down, BC from the Connecticut 40-yard line. On the toss, it's Callender. And he is upended at the 35, gain of 5. Perkins makes the tackle. Let's go back to the studio, check in with Reese.
All right, Dave, high school showcase game of the week from the state of Florida. Blanche Ely from Pompano against Deerfield Beach. These two schools in the same district, neighborhood rivals. Kids know each other, and they all know Rod Ferguson now. Ferguson loose for Deerfield Beach in the dark jerseys. 47 yards. Deerfield up big, 36-19 in the third.
And you know, Reese knows that both these schools do a lot of recruiting down in Florida.
On the handoff, Callender powering forward to the 31. And there are no starters on this UConn defense that are actually from Connecticut.
Well, they recruit from New England. They recruit from a lot of different places. I know for UConn, adding South Florida to the Big East next year will help to increase their recruiting base down in that area, South Florida being in Tampa.
They got more players from the Bahamas starting on defense for Connecticut than they have from Connecticut. Dion McPhee. They got more guys from Montreal, Quebec than they have from Connecticut starting on defense. That would be Sean Main. Big third down and 2. Play fake. Peterson. Wide open is Adams. He takes a seat at the 21. Gain of 10 or 11. Well, we saw Peterson in the first half run around. We also saw him run around and throw, which Draws comparisons to Doug Flutie. Take a look.
Take a look up top. Watch Flutie and look at the bottom. Look at Peterson. That looks familiar. Very similar. Light on their feet. Presence, quickness, ability to throw on the move.
That's right, throw on the move. Both of those guys are uncanny, being able to throw on the run, throw stepping back, throw while jumping in the air. Great body control.
First down from the 22. Peterson stepping up and diving to the 19 for 3. Al Fincher on the tackle.
Peterson actually met Doug Flutie this past summer. Had a chance to chat with him, and he said, you know something, I was surprised. He's a real cool guy.
He didn't think he would be.
Guess you read about those Doug Flutie, Rob Johnson issues in Buffalo.
Well, how can you not like a guy who's got his jersey retired up there?
Doug Flutie, the only Heisman winner from Boston College. Mike Ruth right next to it, the only Outland Trophy winner, the only 2 jerseys numbers retired.
How can you not love a guy that's going to be 42 years old this fall, and he's still playing in the NFL, Doug Flutie? And Peterson hit and delivers it to Callender. He's taken down 3-4 yards into the backfield. Al Fincher made the play there for UConn. Time now for our ESPN game track, and we talked about how close this game was in the first quarter, with the exception of a boo-boo on special teams to open the game. Yeah, UConn came out, appeared to be a little bit tight, fumbled the opening kickoff after a mishap there at the very beginning.
And then we have just a mental mistake on the punt. That led to a touchdown, and now it's 7-0, and that's the only score in the game so far, was that miscue. Yeah,
you mentioned that the mental mistake trap with Perkins bumping into Blackman, who's trying to fair catch it, and that cost Connecticut. And Peterson is going to the end zone, but it's overthrown. Lilly was the intended receiver. Good coverage by Alan Barnes, and he has made up for his mistake in the first quarter. Barnes was the man that fumbled that kickoff.
And actually, his personal protector ran into his feet. Barnes was trying to go back and get the ball. His personal protector ran by him to throw a block and got his feet tangled up. So that wasn't really Barnes' fault that the initial miscue occurred, but then he needs to hold on to the football. The fumble was his fault.
True freshman Ryan Oliger with his first ever field goal attempt. The snap is high, but the kick is good from 42 yards. Francois Brochu with the tape handed all. Snapped it a little bit high, but not too high. And Oliger pokes it through. BC by 10. 12-play, 62-yard drive in less than 6 minutes, and Oliger with his first ever field goal for BC, true freshman.
And this team has really rallied around him. In practice on Wednesday, when he was kicking field goals at the end of practice, the team gathered round and they were cheering him on, and the best thing that I heard out of that crowd was, "Come on, Munchkin!" And he hit a 50-yarder.
He's got a leg. We saw that kickoff earlier that went through the end zone.
He did, and his first ever college field goal was 42. So I think "Come on, Munchkin" might be a rallying cry for him. That comes from his own teammates.
I don't know if I call him Munchkin. He's got some guns there. Not LeVar Arrington, but and there's another good kick. And Branch elects to stay put. So UConn will start at the 20. 2 touchbacks for Oliger and a 42-yard field goal. And Boston College leads Connecticut 10-0 early in the second quarter. Back at Alumni Stadium, the UConn Huskies playing their first Big East game as an official member of the conference, taking on Boston College, which is beginning its swan song in the Big East. The Eagles are off to the ACC next year. And BC with a 10-0 lead early second quarter. And back to the running game for Connecticut. And Brockington is stacked up at the 23-yard line. Ryan Glasper leads the charge for BC on defense, along with Jolan Dunbar.
Well, the reason they are going to the run right now is that defensive line is the second defensive line. Boston College has platooned out the starters to give them a little break. And so it looks like Randy Edsall is going to go after those guys while he can.
Well, that Boston College defense hasn't given up much. Not in the first quarter. Not in the season so far.
Well, they did a better job against Penn State in terms of stopping the run Opponents averaging about 68 yards rushing a game. Brockington already has close to 50 in the first half as the tight end Dan Murray pulls it in past the marker for the first down at the 32. Glasper with the tackle for BC.
And Connecticut needs to stay on the field. You know, before that play, they were down in plays run 21-14. So they got to keep their defense off the field for a little bit, get some first downs, and get some confidence.
Randy Edsall, a Tom Coughlin disciple, coached at BC as an assistant under Coughlin. Actually was a finalist for the head coaching job at BC when Tom O'Brien was named head coach. Here's Brockington, and UConn able to run the ball on BC. First team able to do that this year. That's a gain of about 12 and a first down. Another tackle for Glasper, his third on this drive.
This is a veteran offensive line for Connecticut that knows how to handle things. Since 2002, they've had 26 scoring drives of 80 yards or more. And that's because this offensive line has played together a long time. A lot of 3- and 4-year starters up there.
They were 8th in the country in total offense last year. Averaged 34 points per game. And you've also got a guy in Orlovsky who can take you deep. From the 45-yard line, they toss to Brockington. More running room. Another gain of close to 10 to the 46-yard line. And Ryan Glasper, calling his name a lot. Backup strong safety makes the tackle.
Well, Boston College puts their starting defensive line back into no avail. Metling, number 93, right here, goes too far inside, doesn't keep contained. Great play call by Randy Edsall to take advantage of that overexuberance.
Second down and 1. Another handoff to Brockington. This time he's stuck. Hit in the backfield. First by Alvin Washington. And then Kiwanuka cleaned him up.
Washington just blew through there. And we were talking about that offensive line. That was a great play against that veteran offensive line. And just watch Washington. Middle of your screen, right there. Watch him blow right through here. That's just quickness.
And that's Grant Preston, the tackle that he beats. It's a tough block for Preston. He's got to reach all the way down inside, but good quickness and power from Washington.
On third down and short. Oh, BC stuffs it again. This time it's Tim Bowman making the play. And UConn will punt.
Well, it looks like that break that the starter defensive line took really helped him. Bowman's the playmaker inside. He's an interior defensive tackle, but they expect him to be a hero and make plays. He's right here. Take a look at the fire that he comes through. He beats the block of the center, keeps his feet, and makes the hit. And that's the difference when you have a fresh defensive line.
Any thought of a fake here, guys?
No, they've had enough mistakes to start this ball game for UConn. They just need to try to get some field position.
Usar's third punt of the day. Blackman from the 13. Makes a couple of guys miss. Finally taken down at the 21 by James Hargrave. 8-yard return after a 37-yard punt. Tim Bowman with a great play on defense for BC, and the Eagles lead by 10.
ESPN2's College Football Primetime. Brought to you by the next Ford Super Duty. Tougher, stronger, smarter. And Circuit City. Check us out at circuitcity.com.
Well, it may be a night in which the Red Sox and Yankees are playing, but we got a full house here at Alumni Stadium. Both Connecticut and Boston College fans attending the second quarter, and BC has a 10-0 lead. And the offense goes to work again, and Peterson in trouble, but again gets out of there. And gets to the 25, picks up 5 of the play before Tyler King makes the tackle. Saturday, ABC's college football is back with a terrific regional doubleheader. First at noon Eastern, the New Luck Huskers take on Pittsburgh. And at 3:30 Eastern, you'll see number 25 Oregon taking on number 2 Oklahoma, or Ohio State against NC State. Also on the West Coast, UCLA and Washington at 4 Pacific. Check local listings for the games in your area.
Question is, will Nebraska get that passing attack untracked against the Pittsburgh team that sees a lot of passes?
Well, Nebraska has struggled early in the season. Bill Callahan's first year there. Complete to the fullback, Palmer. And Palmer past the 45 and out of bounds at the 46. 22-yard pickup. And Justin Perkins finally made the stop. And Palmer's dangerous out of the backfield. Had 5 catches last week.
Dana Bible told us that he believes in using the fullback in his offense, and he slips him out of the backfield here. You see him coming out that way. Nobody takes him on. Slips him out to the flat. Wide open green.
And that was a blitz. 6 men came, but they forgot to pick up the fullback.
Sophomore from California. Here he blocks for Callender, gets the call around the edge, and Callender knocked to the turf at the 49 by Estep and Perkins. Gain of 3 on the play. Well, mistakes are the reasons why Boston College is leading 10-0.
Yeah, pretty geared up for this ball game. That's the opening kickoff. Slips and then fumble.
And then we've got a mental mistake where Perkins gets too close to the punt returner before the ball comes down. And even with that, you've got only 10 points from Boston College. And I think because of the momentum issues there and the field position issues, you've got to give a lot of credit to Connecticut's defense that it's only 10-0.
That's a good point. You've got Orlovsky also at quarterback for Connecticut, but they haven't been able to do much of the passing game. As getting free is Hazard at the 35 and the 30. Gain of about 21 or 2, and Jay Estep finally makes the tackle on Hazard. Is having a nice night. He already has a touchdown catch.
Oh, they cleared space for him. They had 2 receivers run off the coverage, and then he just came back underneath, crossing and was wide open.
And again, it was a blitz. They're trying to stack the line and blitz Peterson, and he's burning him with recognition of where to go with the ball on the hot read.
Good numbers by Peterson through the air. Also did a nice job running the ball. Here's Callender up the middle. It's a couple. Tyler King makes another stop. King's dad played in the National Football League with the Patriots for 9 years. Steve King.
And he played with John Hanna, one of the greatest guards ever to play. When you're a linebacker, as Steve King was, and you have to practice against John Hanna every day, he's probably 2 inches shorter now than he was when he got to the Patriots.
That's Trevor Maddich. Rod Gilmore here as well. I'm Dave Patch. Rob Stone on the sidelines. Big East opener for both teams in the first Big East year for Connecticut and the last for Boston College. BC going to the ACC next year as Peterson throws incomplete. Perkins had good coverage on Gonzalez. It'll bring up 3rd down and long. Well, a lot of changes in the Big East Conference. This is what it was last year with Miami and Virginia Tech in the league, but then they go to the ACC. Connecticut comes in, and so this is what you have, all the schools in the Northeast. Now BC goes bye-bye, and so does Temple. And look what you got next year.
So South Florida's coming in, Louisville, Cincinnati. Thing is changing. It's gonna look like that.
And guys, how about this for a basketball league? Not only do you have Louisville and Cincinnati, but you also have DePaul and Marquette coming in for hoops. BC 3 for 5 on 3rd down. They need 8. See the play clock winding down to 2. Peterson gets it off. And Peterson has a man, but going to be short of the 1st down. Lilly catches it at the 21. It'll be about 1.5 yards shy. Alan Barnes with a good play, and we've called his name a lot in a positive sense since that opening kickoff.
And I thought for a moment that Barnes would pick it off and go the other way. He read it from the start. Sometimes, though, as a corner, you don't believe what you see. You see the quarterback starting to throw it, and you don't want to take the chance. If he had taken the chance, he'd have gone 80 yards the other way. Had he not made the fumble on the opening kickoff, he might have taken that chance. But he had no safety support behind him. He was locked up man for man.
You like this move here, guys? 4th and 2?
I love it.
I like points.
I like their audacity.
Well, you got that huge offensive line. It's a play fake. And Peterson completes to Adams. Inside the 15-yard line. Spun down by Maurice Lloyd. But after a 1st down, gain of 8.
Oh, we talk about throwing lanes. And Peterson finding the lane. Because he's less than 6 feet tall, he's got to find throwing lanes. You'll see him move himself on out here. He's looking for the lane where he can get rid of the ball. And finds it.
From the defensive standpoint, he's not just a threat to run the ball to get this 1st down. He's a threat to run for a touchdown. So you've got to have guys in his face. That lowers the amount of people to cover.
1st down inside the 15-yard line. Callender breaking tackle inside the 5. And Callender fumbles at the goal line. No signal yet. They're going to say he's down at the half-yard line. MJ Eastep made the hit. Tom O'Brien's going to have a first down and goal.
You take that big offensive line, you mash him straight forward on a zone play, stay on your man, break one tackle, and now he sees the end zone. But as a freshman, he tries to reach forward with that ball. As a freshman, he made that mistake. As a senior, he'll never make it. Watches the ball, he reaches out to try to score. That was nearly a fumble.
I think he may have scored. May have crossed the plane of the football. First down and goal. Well, he gets another shot. And this time he's in. Touchdown, BC.
You'll see the surge up front by this offensive line, which might as well be a basketball line. They're so tall. They're also pretty strong.
They're strong, and when you're that tall, though, Rod, you have to be able to bend your knees and get low to get leverage, and they can. Unusual for such tall players.
6'9", 6'8", 6'7" up front.
Call Al Skinner, the basketball coach. Andre Callender with his first touchdown. BC by 17.
One of the key ingredients for Boston College is the stability of their coaching staff. Dana Bible has been here for a while as the offensive coordinator, and Frank Spaziani's been here as the defensive coordinator.
Branch going to get a chance to return this one to the 10. And then gets leveled at the 21-yard line. What a hit by Toll, who is considered one of the top recruits ever at Boston College. Was between Miami and BC, and boy, did he lay out Tyvon Branch there on special teams.
For whom the Brian tolls.
You didn't say that. You didn't just say
Here's
that.
a bell that tolls.
Oh! Head snap.
Welcome to the Big East Conference.
And he announced his decision to go to Boston College on ESPN.
When you see that helmet snap back, you know it's a big hit. Play fake. Orlovsky. Nice touch. He finds his tight end. And Murray's out of bounds. I think it's hit late. Penalty flag on Henderson for hitting Murray late past the 40-yard line.
And that's a break that Connecticut really needed. They get a good play, and then they get a chance to tack on 15 to it because Henderson, who was the star last week with 2 interceptions, comes in late. Although I'm not so certain about that. That looks pretty close.
It wasn't that late.
Yeah. That's pretty close.
And it's not a bad call by the official, but that's a close call. But you're right, Rod, that the break is what matters here. It's the first time something good happened for UConn today.
I think it's a bad call because it looked to me like it wasn't clear that the ball carrier was out of bounds.
Left foot was out of bounds, but Henderson couldn't see that.
Yeah. I mean, the guy's still struggling forward.
First down at the 45 of BC. And around. There's some room on that far side, and then the hole closes quickly. Gain of only 1 on the play. Let's take one more look at that sideline play.
Yeah, you're coming over. You see the guy break the tackle, and he's still struggling forward.
Right. Now, at that point, he's out of bounds here. But he's not way out of bounds.
Nah, to me, that's a bad call.
I think it's a tweener, and I think it's a call that didn't need to be made, but I don't think it was a bad call. It was an unnecessary call.
That was a bad call.
Hey.
Second down and 9. Orlovsky in the gun. Orlovsky with time finds his check down. Brockington. Nice moves and laying some blows is Brockington as he takes on 4 BC players. Picks up the first down at the 33-yard line.
You see that Connecticut feels a sense of urgency. They know this is their time to get back in the ball game. We're seeing some plays that they didn't run early. More stuff out of the backfield, more touch passes.
And great patience by Orlovsky. We haven't seen him go deep yet in this game. He's picking apart the BC defense underneath, staying patient. We'll see if it pays off this drive.
From the 33, Brockington, and there is Kiwanuka. He's been quiet for a while, but shows up big on that play.
Well, he may have been quiet, but that's because he's been having an impact on the ball game because they pay attention to him. But watch him close down from right to left. That is quickness. That is speed. He just lived in the backfield.
And he's farther away than Brockington from that hole. Take a look at the speed. Take a look at how close he is to the hole compared to the running back, Brockington, and he gets there first.
He draws some comparisons to Javon Curse because of his height and his speed. Orlovsky dumps it off. And it's caught inside the 35-yard line. And down about the 32-yard line is Deion Anderson. Ray Henderson with the tackle. Well, Matthias Kiwanuka's grandfather was Uganda's first prime minister back in 1961. He was assassinated 11 years later. And in his honor, Kiwi displays the Ugandan flag in his dorm room, and he also has a tattoo on his upper back of the Ugandan flag. Really a great kid. He sat down with us for about 20 minutes yesterday. Really enjoyed spending time with him. And there goes Metling taking off. Penalty. Here is Kiwanuka talking about that tattoo on his upper back.
I just wanted to get the tattoo. I mean, it's a symbol. It's a piece of pride, you know, for me. I just wanted to, you know, to show where I'm from, and you know, it's something that's always going to be there, like my heritage is. I've wanted it since I was 18 years old, and you know, just everything kind of came together last 4th of July.
That's the Ugandan presidential seal. It's got a sun with a drum below on a shield, 2 crossed spears, a cob, and a gazelle.
You really did your homework on that thing. He has a future, guys, in the NFL. Henry pulls it in as he's hit by Sheehan at the 20, but he picks up the first down. With more on Kiwanuka, check in with Rob Stone.
He's been back to his native land just once, and that in 3rd grade. He told us yesterday, guys, he's dying to get back there. He's going to the first time he actually gets an opportunity, and you know, he really wants to help primarily using his fame and his potential, fortune at least, in trying to diminish the AIDS epidemic in his country. It's completely ravaging everything. Also, he told us he might even get involved in the political process, although that's a long ways down the road.
Terrific kid, terrific player.
He's amazing, and we'll talk about that more after this play.
UConn in the red zone. Orlovsky flushed out of the pocket. And he finds his man Anderson inside the 15-yard line as we check in with Reese Davis to tell us what's coming up at halftime. Reese?
All right, Dave, Trevin Marker here. UAB cannot find a way to escape Hurricane Ivan. The Irish secret weapon. Also take a peek at that, and also ahead on the Olive Garden halftime report, another Florida showdown in our high school showcase.
I'll tell you about an area where the Irish are playing as well as anyone in the country.
And can we learn anything about Notre Dame if they beat Michigan State? We'll talk about that, Reese.
Answers aplenty coming. Also, the Ford Freestyle Friday tailgate comes your way from East Lansing, Michigan. Stick around for that. We'll see you guys in a few minutes.
All right, guys, and man, the weather has maybe been the biggest story in college football this year. 2nd down and 5 for UConn to the BC 15. Orlovsky has a man across the middle. It Sparks for the first down inside the 10. Tyrone Pruitt on the tackle as senior Brian Sparks picks up the first down.
Connecticut certainly knows how to come back. 5 wins from 10 points or more, with 5 wins in the 4th quarter. So they don't get discouraged when they get down.
And you do that with a quarterback that knows where to throw the ball under pressure. This drive has been picking apart the underneath of BC's defense. This is very impressive.
First down and goal, running play. To the outside, Brockington, and in for the touchdown. The Husky fans in attendance love it as Cornell Brockington, who had 10 rushing touchdowns last year, gets his 2nd this season. And Matt Newsy, sophomore on for the PAT, missed one last week, just squeaks that one through. And a big touchdown by Connecticut with under a minute to go in the second quarter. Brockington having a great day running the football for UConn, and the Huskies are now down just 10.
And Brockington is looking outside at the block of Jason Williams on Will Blackman. That's the key block on the left of your screen. Brockington's looking there. It's a great block. Now they appear on the left. And what great sustenance of a block by the wide receiver Williams on a great cornerback Will Blackman to facilitate that touchdown.
Nice job inside to allow them to get outside as Boston College was bunched up inside a bit, Dave.
Brockington 60-70 yards on the ground, guys, and BC just given up 68 per game in the 2 games prior to this one. Orlovsky 6 for 6 on that drive. That was 9 plays and went 79 yards.
A lot of composure by that offensive system.
Blackman will take a knee, and Boston College will start at the 20 with 50 seconds left. UConn has shown that it can run the football against Boston College. The question is, can they stop BC's offense?
We talked about that veteran offensive line, but what about the redshirt freshman running back? Brockington has done a nice job outside and inside reading his blocks.
And it's the outside that has really made it happen. Because he's got that speed, it forces Boston College to cover the entire width of the field. They can't afford to bunch it up, so Brockington can pick his creases. Very good burst.
Inside handoff to Callender on first down to the 20, and Callender has some room past the 30. Bangs forward to the 42. Alan Barnes in the stop. BC has all of its timeouts left, but the clock stops anyway with the first down, and they'll start it again once the ball is in place.
Yeah, Peterson wants to go. He's looking at the sideline waving, hurry up, let's go, let's go.
Why not call a timeout and save yourself the 6 or 7 seconds? You got 3 timeouts. Peterson dumps it off, but it's through the hands of David Cachetta. That stops the clock anyway. 2nd and 10 with 29 left.
Good question.
Why not save yourself 6 or 7 seconds?
But, you know, sometimes you get into this automatic mode, get the timeout with the first down, you just get to the line of scrimmage and go, and you don't change that.
But one reason, though, is that if they maintain timeouts, they can still throw down the middle of the field with only 29 seconds to go and still have a chance to call timeout on a completion and get the field goal team in there. Timeouts are precious here.
Another inside running play, Callender up to midfield. And BC will, you would think, use a timeout, but
I think they've decided they're content to go in as it is.
Well, but now they call it with 16 seconds left.
And Peterson's pointing up to the clock saying, hey, I called it a while ago.
Peterson and BC with a 10-point lead. Will be back in a moment. Boston College leads Connecticut 17-7. 16 seconds remaining in the second quarter. Saturday morning, Chris Lee and Kirk preview the upcoming day in college football and have all the latest news and stories on College Game Day, built by the Home Depot. It's every Saturday at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time.
Aren't they at Michigan State tomorrow?
Michigan State looking for, I don't know if you say respect, but losing to Rutgers.
Oof. The problem is Rutgers turned around and lost to New Hampshire.
Yeah. But after Notre Dame's win against Michigan, that would certainly help Michigan State earn some of that respect back if they can beat the Irish.
Well, wait now. Rutgers beat Michigan State, then lost to New Hampshire. If Michigan State beats Notre Dame, does that mean that New Hampshire has... I'm not sure how Kevin Bacon would feel about all that.
On that whole 6-degree thing?
I think we got about 8 degrees there.
I'm trying to figure out what is going on here.
Yeah, they ran the ball.
Yeah, it seems to me that Boston College was not sure whether they wanted to use their timeouts and go for a field goal or something, or let the clock run out.
So they ran it. The clock stopped anyway for the first down, but then they called timeout. Now they got 11 seconds left. So maybe one play down the field, get your timeout and get the field goal unit out. Or maybe not. Here's what UConn has coming up on the schedule. They have West Virginia at home, and West Virginia picked by most publications to win the Big East Conference. So if UConn can get this one and then maybe upset West Virginia at home, who knows?
With the bowl affiliations for this year with the Big East and the toughest road game at Georgia Tech for UConn, they've got a shot at a bowl.
You see Boston College. This, they feel, is their year. The last year in the Big East, they have a chance to get a BCS berth if they can win the conference before heading on to the ACC, where Miami and Florida State and Virginia Tech will be waiting.
Yeah, going to be tough for BC to get to the BCS next year. The pass is caught in play by Hazard, but a flag down. I think Hazard stepped out of bounds. Yep, he stepped out of bounds, came back in, and then caught it, so that play will be wiped out.
He can come back in, but he can't be the first guy to touch the ball when he's gone out.
And when you see an official with no hat on, that's what, because somebody went out of bounds. Let's see where his foot goes out of bounds. Right there. Right here, it's out of bounds. The ball hasn't arrived there yet. And the official that's coming up is going to throw his hat onto the ground at the top of the screen. And when the official's hat hits the ground, that means somebody stepped out of bounds.
Good call. We got to say that after the other one. If we're going to pick on them when they make bad calls, we got to say good call, and that was a good call.
We have to?
Well, hey, it might have been 3 points if he didn't see it.
Okay, it's fair. Like that's fair. No, that's fair. That's fair.
Okay. They're going to go for a Hail Mary here, though. 4 seconds to go.
It's been 20 years since Doug Flutie completed that Hail Mary against Miami, but BC is not going to look for a repeat as they hand it off to Calendar, and then a late flag flies in, so hold everything.
Well, this is about as muddy an end to a first half as we've seen for a while.
But wait, if there's some sort of personal foul penalty on Connecticut, that could make things interesting.
Well, all I know is Peterson.
After the play was over, dead ball foul, number 77 on the offense. We will start the second half with a 15-yard penalty against Boston College.
I was going to say Peterson was jumping around like he was unhappy about what occurred here. So I think he knew that one of his guys right there took a cheap shot.
Augusto Sherilis, the right tackle, drills Fincher in the back right there, or in the side. So a good ending to the first half for Connecticut, trailing Boston College now by 10. Let's go to Reese Davis in the studio.
All right, Dave, glad to have you with us on the Olive Garden halftime report. Boston College up 17-7. Trev Alberts, Mark May here with me. And guys, UConn window dressing touchdown, or do you think touchdown combined with the penalty back in the game?
No, I think they're back in the game. I think when you look at UConn, I watched the start of the game, and it just seemed like they were so excited. So many times as a player, you think, here's a great opportunity, need to go out there. That wasn't UConn football. They were turning the ball over, getting penalties. Now they've settled down. They're back in the game. Randy Edsall just needs to say, guys, listen, we're back in the game. Don't worry about it. It's only 17-7. They're in the game.
Well, they're a very resilient football team. They've come from behind in the past, and I think what was very impressive to me was Dan Orlowski, the quarterback. That last drive took them down the field and scored a touchdown. He was 6 for 6 on that drive. That's the Dan Orlowski you have to keep paying attention to. He's the guy that all the NFL scouts are looking at, that they know that he's going to be a first-round draft pick.
There are certainly many big games on the docket on Saturday. In some cases, conference races taking shape. But in the week leading up to these games, not all of the attention focused on football. Hurricane Ivan has certainly wreaked havoc in the southern part of the country. We will talk about the impact on the players as they prepare for the game and what they were thinking as they watched the weather unfold.
Welcome back to Alumni Stadium. Not a good start for UConn, but the Huskies close out the half with a touchdown to pull within 10. And remember, this is a work in progress at Connecticut. With more on that, here's Rob Stone.
Well, Dave, the move from 1AA football to big-time D1 football, it's not all bowl games boosters and financial bonanzas. There are stories of good, bad, and ugly, and these are some of them. And we begin with the good. You know, Boise State, vaunted passing attack is translated into immediate bowl game success. Marshall, big-time NFL products, including Byron Leftwich, Chad Pennington. The Vandals of Idaho, all right, that's kind of the ugly story. Troy, how about them? They had a big win versus Missouri last Thursday. Buffalo, it's been rough in the MAC for them. And UConn, 15 wins in their last 18 games, including wins versus programs from the Big 10, the Big 12, ACC, and the Big East. And the most important part, guys, they're now BCS eligible.
Last year, Rob, they beat Wake Forest, and they were tied with NC State late in the game before Orlovsky threw a touchdown pass that was returned for a touchdown, and UConn won 9 games. They're kicking off from the 50-yard line because of an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty at the end of the half against Boston College, and BC will start at the 20-yard line. Dave Pasch alongside Rod Gilmore and Trevor Mattich. Guys, both teams able to run the ball in the first half, and that was their goal coming into the game.
It was surprising, too. I didn't think that UConn would be able to run the way that they did, but Boston College is going to have to find a way to commit another guy to slow down the UConn running game.
But when they try to do that or look for Orlovsky to throw the ball deep to his speedy wide receivers, he's only got a 19-yard pass as his longest. Orlovsky has not attempted to throw it deep. Let's see if that occurs that way. If they try to stop the run, does Orlovsky go over the top?
First down, Boston College from its 20-yard line. And they start with a play action. And Peterson going to take off and gets leveled at the 26-yard line. Time to look at our first half game track.
First half was pretty clear as far as UConn goes. They started out with trouble. They had some problems. Even though Orlovsky is their guy, you see him coming out. The problems began right on the kickoff when there was a slip-up and then a fumble. That was Alan Barnes who would make that mistake.
But then they come back, and at the very end of the first half, UConn puts points on the board, and so they're not out of this.
Here's Callender on the second down carry, and he's going to be about 2 yards shy of the first down. So a important third down coming up right off the bat for Boston College in offense, because UConn has all the momentum right now. Good first half for Callender. After an impressive debut last week, 114 yards in the win against Penn State. Tom O'Brien with 4 straight wins in bowl games. Done a great job of this Boston College program. It's their final season of the Big East Conference before they go to the ACC. And they're hoping for a Big East championship and a BCS berth, but they got to beat UConn first. And here on the third down screen play, Peterson is pressured. And the pass is overthrown and complete. 3 and out for BC on offense.
How about that coverage by James Hargrove? He was all over that screen pass, and the pressure that came in forced Peterson to get rid of it sooner than he wanted to.
And that pressure was the key. There was a blitzer unblocked right in his face, and there wasn't a whole lot that Peterson can do with that tight coverage you mentioned, Rod.
Larry Taylor, who's averaging about 11 yards per punt return, is back to receive the first punt of the day for true freshman Johnny Ayers. Both of BC's kickers are true freshmen. And this is a boomer. Taylor at his 15-yard line. And there is a flag. Taylor ripped down to the 25, but again a penalty flag down. 55-yard punt.
That was as blatant a block in the back as you'll ever see.
You can almost see it coming before the play.
Hey, just look at number 9 in the middle of your screen. Watch him get pummeled in the back. That's not even close.
Yeah, that's Larry Anam, and he's a special teams terror. The reason he got blocked in the back is that he's so fast down the field, but as a blocker on punt return, sometimes the best play you can make is no play at all.
Tyvon Branch, the guilty man. And Connecticut, which has not had good field position to start from yet today, will be backed up inside the 10. And Randy Edsall, he is a stickler for the rules, and he's not happy with a call, but
he's working the official.
Yeah.
He's lobbying for the future because that was definitely a block in the back.
Well, that's the old Tom Coughlin way, I guess. First down inside the 10. Since they've gone to this 2 tight end set, they've done a better job against Kiwanuka. Brockington Big hole up near the 19-yard line. Gain of about 10 on that play as UConn continues to run the ball well. Randy Edsall was an assistant coach at Boston College under Tom Coughlin, following a stint at Syracuse, his alma mater. Then he coached with Coughlin in the NFL at Jacksonville, then went to Georgia Tech to coordinate George O'Leary's defense. He worked at Syracuse with O'Leary, and here he is now in his 6th year at UConn as Brockington picks up the first down. Kiwanuka on the tackle.
Edsall seems to be wound a little bit tight. You know, I was down on the field before the ball game, and most coaches, even an hour before the game, are a little bit relaxed. He was game face on, focused, ready to go. And I remember saying to Rob Stone, he's a little tight. He's wound up.
Well, guys, we talked about stepping stones, and you look at the UConn basketball program, winning the NIT in 1988. That was a stepping stone for them. And then winning the Big East in 1990, and then eventually the national title. A program that went from nothing to being on top of the college basketball world. They're trying to do the same thing with a football program, and this is a big stage for Connecticut football. And they come out running, and Brockington again with a good pickup on first down.
This is a bad sign for Boston College because Connecticut is still running the ball as effectively as they did in the first half.
And Edsall's built this program up from scratch, and he's had a lot of help from the UConn basketball programs. Men's and women's win national championships regularly, and their coaches Jim Calhoun, Gino Ariema have been on board to help get this program from 1AA to 1A.
Here they fumble the snap, but a flag down, may have not even gotten the play off.
Illegal snap on the offense. 5-yard penalty, still second down.
Well, Jim Calhoun took over in the mid-'80s, and just this past spring won his 2nd national championship. Gino Ariema has a handful of women's national championships, and both have lended their words of wisdom to Randy Edsall in his quest to do the same thing with UConn football.
Jim Calhoun told him, get good players.
That usually makes a difference, doesn't it? Well, they got Chris Smith back in the late 80s as Brockington again powers forward to the 32-yard line. When they got Chris Smith, that really helped the basketball program. Rob Stone, why don't you jump in here with more on that situation?
Well, that and Randy Edsall. And Rod, you mentioned he was wound a little tight before the game. You know, so was his team. He admitted to me going in the locker room, hey, our guys were just trying too hard. But he and the team have mellowed. He had a nice slow walk with me into the locker room at halftime, and they told me, hey, the one thing we got to do is we got to keep Peterson in the pocket. He's killing us when he freelances outside, and we need to have better third down defense.
Now, Rob, you know that players often take their cue from the coach, and if the coach is a little tight, players will play tight.
Big third down and short. Bellamy, the running back. And Bellamy picks up the first down to the 34-yard line.
You talk about the success of the basketball programs. They've leveraged basketball to help football go from 1AA to 1A. Even in scheduling, Indiana called Connecticut to inquire about a home-and-home basketball series, and Connecticut said, hey, as long as we're on the phone, how about we talk football? So now they have a home-and-home football as well, and so they do that a lot. In November, there's one weekend where the women play Buffalo in hoops on Friday, the men play Buffalo in football on Saturday afternoon, and the men's hoops play Buffalo Saturday night. They're leveraging it together to make the whole program better.
Orlovsky throws short, and it's caught by Anderson, and then he is stacked up and driven out of play short of the 40-yard line. You guys think that they're setting up the deep ball? We have not seen it yet from this UConn offense.
Well, eventually they'll want to air it out. But you talk about leveraging basketball, football for basketball. Look at this leverage here. Keeping its balance even though the leverage was out there.
Good tackling by Boston College. Very sound defensive team. Anderson, the heart and soul of this UConn offense, as offensive coordinator Norris Wilson. 2nd and 5. Running play. And this time, BC makes a play. Ray Henderson got into the backfield and tripped up Brockington. No gain. It'll bring up third down.
Trevor, we talked about pressure, blitzing to stop the run. It's going to set up a deep ball sooner or later.
And they haven't even attempted a deep ball. The longest pass that Orlovsky has completed has been 19 yards. The second longest, only 13 yards. Eventually, he's going to need to go down the field.
Frank Spaziani, the veteran defensive coordinator for BC, going to try to stop Orlovsky here on 3rd down and 5. Orlovsky with tons of time as Kataya wide open inside the BC 45-yard line. TJ Stansel on the tackle.
Nicely done. They roll to the right. They run the pass coverage to the right, and it's a throwback. You've got a receiver dragging back across the middle and a nice pocket because they did a little dash, a little half roll.
And what a terrific job by the veteran offensive line of Connecticut on the left side. Krug and Markowski fanning out to pick up a safety blitz.
That's Jamie Silva who made the hit on Kataya after he picked up 18 yards. Let's take a look. Orlovsky's 8th straight completion.
Ooh, his own guy hits Silva. Silva's lined up Kataya, and look at the side of Silva's helmet as it gets hit right there. That's a problem.
Yeah, that's Stansel and Silva, the two safeties, collaborating, and you see Silva just kind of crumple there.
And hopefully he's going to be all right. But
bloody elbow, hair down at his face. Silva's just a freshman, but he's a big hitter, loves the physicality of the game, and that's what a physical player looks like when he's been playing physical all game.
He'll be replaced by Ryan Glasper, who leads the team in tackles so far in this game with 6. 1st down, Connecticut. They've had the ball for about 6 minutes. Brockington, and not much there, maybe 2 yards to the 41-yard line. Tackled by Tim Bullman. Let's take a look at some numbers from the first half. Interesting stats.
We'll take a look at the rushing yardage. 100 yards BC, 59 rush yards for Connecticut. The turnovers are even. The penalties are even too. The only thing is the score is not even because of mistakes early by Connecticut.
Well, it's where Connecticut's penalty came on that kickoff return. Gave them a short field for a touchdown.
And their fumble inside their own 20.
2nd and 8. Orlovsky trying to make it 9 straight completions. Gets away from Metling. Beautiful throw as it's pulled in at the 20-yard line by Brandon McLean. Make that Jason Williams on the catch, the fastest player on the UConn team. Sub-4 340 guy.
And what makes him a prospect? Something like this. Watch his footwork. He uses his feet to buy time. He's not looking to scramble. Head downfield, looking for a play down the field.
And knowing where the defenders are, knowing where his receivers are, and knowing where to throw the ball so he gets the completion but also doesn't risk the interception. It's recognition on the scramble.
Look at those numbers by Orlovsky, including 9 straight completions. 1st down at the BC 20. This drive started inside the UConn 9 as Brockington gets a couple to the 18-yard line. We're at Alumni Stadium in Chestnut Hill, Mass. Dave Pash, Rod Gilmore, Trevor Maddich, and Rob Stone. Connecticut's first ever Big East game officially, and BC's last season in the Big East as they go to the ACC next year. Cornell Brockington over 100 yards rushing for Connecticut in this game. A touchdown as well. And UConn is on the move. They've had the ball the entire 3rd quarter. 2nd down and 8. Orlovsky. And it's intercepted by Blackman. Ricky Brown with a great hit on the intended receiver. And now they're saying it's incomplete. It was trapped. Incomplete pass. Blackman trapped it. But Brown hit McLean, which forced the ball up into the air and almost into the arms of Will Blackman.
Oh boy, you get one of those, Ricky Brown, every maybe 8 or 9 games where the receiver is way up in the air, arms high, ribs exposed, and you're a linebacker and can take that shot. You got to take it when you got it.
I think this is a pick. If we were in the Big Ten, we'd have instant replay giving us a definitive ruling. But I think Blackman caught this ball. Watch him. He's going to get his back between the ball and the ground.
Looked like an interception to me. 3rd down and 8. Orlovsky gets it away, and it's caught. And another big hit. This one by Toll on Brian Sparks. And Sparks is going to be about 2 yards shy of the 1st down. And UConn will try for 3.
Let's go back and check out this non-call on the interception. Did he get his arms underneath? It looks like he's got that thing cradled and like it doesn't hit the ground from that angle.
It looks like it does, but his body was between the official and the ball when he originally cradled it. When he rolled over, he had it, but the official couldn't see.
Matt Nuzzi missed a 26-yarder last week and a point after. This kick from 30 hits the upright, no good. So they waste about 8.5 minutes on the clock, and Randy Edsall's team comes up with no points after that terrific drive by Orlovsky. It remains BC 17, UConn 7 after Nuzzi's miss from 30. Boston College leads Dan Orlovsky and the UConn Huskies by 10. Despite UConn with a terrific drive that lasted over 7 minutes, but no points. Matt Nuzzi missing that 30-yarder, hitting the left upright. BC with its second possession of the third quarter. First down from the 20. Peterson out of the shotgun. As his tight end Cachetta across the middle. Gain of 7 before Maurice Lloyd makes the tackle. Last Saturday, Notre Dame knocked off Michigan. This Saturday, the Fighting Irish take on Michigan State at 7 Eastern tomorrow. Notre Dame, Michigan State also available in high definition on ESPN HD. Then at 10 Eastern, USC, number 1 in the country, against Trevor Matich's old team, BYU. Can they beat USC, Trevor?
Well, it depends on what kind of voodoo they've got up there.
Peterson rolling out. Stays in bounds and almost picks up the first down. John Fletcher on the tackle, very close to the marker at the 30.
The interesting thing about that USC BYU game is you have Norm Chow returning to the place where he really established himself as a great coach. 27 years with Lavelle Edwards there, and developed some of the greatest quarterbacks college football has ever known.
But they didn't offer him the head coaching job when it was apparent that Lavelle was going to retire, and so he left to become the highest paid college assistant in the nation, but he's got something to prove to BYU.
Callender up the middle, picks up the first down as he muscles to the 35 before MJ Estep makes the tackle.
You think about some of the games coming up this weekend, and we've seen a lot of issues in college football in this short season. The weather has had a huge impact, but in addition to that, you know, mid-majors like BYU with stunning upsets over Notre Dame. We've seen Fresno State, Boise State, and others pull off games like that.
Well, you've got 4 mid-majors now in the top 25. Utah's the highest at number 14. They only need to hang on and get to number 12 to become BCS eligible.
Poor kicking has been a big issue in college football, and we've already seen that in this game as Nuzzi missed a 30-yarder for Connecticut. Peterson has trouble with a handle and scoops, looks to make a play, and then gets out of bounds, losing about 4 yards. Probably should have just thrown that away. He was outside the tackle box, so it brings up second down.
Do you get the sense that he's just out for recess sometimes? I mean, he picked that ball up like you're out playing dodgeball or kickball or whatever and just continued on with the play.
Yeah, I was thinking it didn't really hurt him at all. This guy loves the motion of the game.
Look at this.
Even when he doesn't have to, he loves to run around. And so when that ball's on the ground, he's thinking, hey, this is what I do best. Create on the move on a broken play. So he wasn't worried at all when that ball hit the ground.
You guys were talking about BYU earlier. Paul Peterson's brother Charlie played quarterback at BYU. Second down and 13. They fake the inside handoff. Peterson gets away from Fincher. And his pass is incomplete. It hit the ground at the 38-yard line. Adams, the intended receiver.
Rob Stone told us earlier that Randy Edelson said, we got to contain this guy. Well, look at the pressure. If you can't contain him, force him to move faster and throw sooner than he wants to.
Well, Tyler King forces him to be leaning backwards when he throws that ball. On the run, across his body, leaning back, and he still almost completed it 12 yards down the field.
BC 5 for 9 on third down. Well, they got to get to the 44-yard line. Peterson gets back to the 30-yard line, but that's it. Tyler King makes the play for UConn. And the Connecticut defense playing awfully well tonight.
Well, one thing they've done is they've gone to having a spy to try and watch. And here's your spy right there, trying to watch and make sure they keep Peterson in the pocket. And King, that time, made the pressure come from the outside.
And by investing the spy, they lose one guy in coverage. And that was great coverage by the remaining defenders.
Second punt for Ayers. Hit a 55-yarder his first time. This is another great boot. Taylor at the 15. And Taylor past the 30-yard line. And finally tackled up near the 34. And a late flag flies in. A penalty flag at the 34-yard line. A BC player went down. And this, if it's against Connecticut, would fall into that boneheaded penalty category. That's exactly what it is. 54-yard punt.
Good ball. Personal foul on the return team. 15-yard penalty from the end of the run. First down.
And Dave, it was a me kind of play because it was nowhere near the play. And that's exactly what Edelson's telling him. It was a selfish me play.
Danny Lansana getting an earful from head coach Randy Edsall. Will be back. Danny Lansana with a late hit after a good return by Larry Taylor, and head coach Randy Edsall gives it to him. Man, Connecticut is killing itself. Guys, they might be the better football team based on what we've seen here since early in the second quarter.
Well, but for that penalty, they'd have 1st and 10 at the 44.
Connecticut has moved the ball. They've been starting at their 20, sometimes inside their 10, and they're moving the ball, but they have a missed field goal, a turnover on a kickoff that gave BC the ball inside the UConn 20. As Orlovsky takes off and slides near the marker at the 29-yard line, Jolon Dunbar made the tackle.
Connecticut really hurt themselves last week against Duke as well. Went into the fourth quarter trailing 20-6, and they finally got it together. It took them one quarter to come back and win that game 22-20.
This is a team that keeps its composure in the second half of ball games when they're behind. You see 5 wins in the fourth quarter.
And Trevor, you made the point earlier, they have not unleashed Orlovsky deep yet in this game. They've controlled the football, time of possession, and they've done a nice job on defense. Here's another running play, and this time the back is taken down. Brockington at the 25, wrapped up by true freshman B.J. Raju. Let's check in with Rob Stone.
Quick update on Eagle strong safety Jameis Silva. They're listing it as minor head trauma, which I guess is the new friendly way of saying he probably has a concussion. They're listing his return as questionable. They just had him doing some runs down the sideline, kind of testing his cognitive abilities. But the big giveaway is when the doctor's holding the helmet still, you're not going to get out on the field.
Minor, there's no minor head trauma is a pimple on your nose. Any other kind of head trauma is major to me.
Thank you, Dr. Trev.
Yes, yes.
3rd down and 3. Orlovsky gets rid of it, and it is picked off by Boston College. Peter Sheehan with the interception. Another self-inflicted Connecticut wound.
They had a screen pass set up, and Orlovsky threw to a spot without even thinking about it. And the question is, was it a catch?
They're going to say now it's incomplete. One of the officials overruled the other.
Was
pretty close.
Tight.
It looked like it bounced.
Was tight. That was very tight. But it's a big break for Connecticut.
That's a bounce.
I don't know.
That's a bounce. That's on the ground. That's
You're
a bounce.
right. You're right, Rod. You're right. Good eyes.
Shane Hussard to punt it to Will Blackman. So a narrow escape there for Connecticut. Need a good punt here. Blackman is dangerous. And this is not a good punt. Fair catch signal, and Blackman fumbles it. And then UConn fumbled it again. But they still come up with it. Justin Perkins comes up with it after Blackman makes a mistake.
He had to go about 15 yards to get in position to try and catch the ball. Look at it, he's on a dead run. And that's a tough ball to try to catch.
Hits him in the face. That's head trauma.
ESPN2's College Football Primetime. Brought to you by the new Chevrolets. 10 new cars and trucks in 20 months. An American revolution. And Dos Equis. Sooner or later, you'll get it.
Welcome back to Boston College. The Big East opener for both teams. Final Big East campaign for BC. The first official Big East campaign for Connecticut. And the Huskies are down 10, and they have the ball at midfield after a BC turnover on special teams. Orlovsky changes the play. Plenty of time on the play clock. Do you go deep here, guys, on first down? Do you take a shot?
Nope. Yes.
They don't. They run it. And Brockington can't break free from Ryan Glasper, who's had a nice game in the secondary. 7 tackles for Glasper, gain of 1 on the play.
Dave, here's why I say that they can't go deep. Passing begins with protection, and they can't protect Orlovsky. Too much pressure on him. If you try to go deep, you might get a sack, and that's going to push you out of field position.
They've got speedy receivers, 4-3 40 times. They've got to stretch the field to back the defense off of the running lanes.
1 sack allowed tonight by Connecticut, but Orlovsky has been pressured another handful of times that he's dropped back to throw. 2nd and 9. And they set up the screen to Brockington. Blockers in front. And Brockington still on his feet. And he gets the first down inside the 40. What moves by Brockington to pick up the first down for UConn. 10-yard pickup.
Cousin John Brockington, the great running back at Ohio State. He's got to be proud of his little cousin. Wasn't that a great Ohio State teams back in the day? Jack Tatum, John Brockington, those guys?
3 yards in a cloud of AstroTurf. They had some big farm boys on those teams.
Be interesting to see if they run towards the left side, because their left tackle, Ryan Krug, their best lineman, is banged up. They do run left. And Brockington does not get much. Krug, the left tackle, out with an ankle injury, and Brockington ran behind the new left tackle, Michael Kaddish, that time, and picked up about a yard.
Well, Krug is one of the 3 fifth-year seniors that started on this line coming into this season, and a junior they also had that started since his freshman year. So this is a very experienced offensive line, and now that Kaddish is in there, the complexion of the line changes.
There's Krug on the bench. 2nd and 8. Again, a 2 tight end set. We've seen a lot of that, and that's Hurt Kiwanuka, the top pass rusher for Boston College. Orlovsky's going to wait till the 4th quarter before he takes another snap. Do you think that 2 tight end set has hurt UConn's offense at all?
Well, it's helped them run the ball. It's taken them away from their preferred set of a 3 wide out position and get the ball down the field. They've got to protect the quarterback, and they can run the ball.
Randy Edsall's team down 10, but 1 quarter to go at Alumni Stadium. BC 17, UConn 7. Welcome back. 4th quarter coming up here from Chestnut Hill, Massachusetts. No scoring in the 3rd quarter. Both teams kept the ball on the ground. Connecticut holding BC to 11 rushing yards. That's in part because of time of possession. UConn had the ball for 2/3 of that 3rd quarter.
But no points. No points out of that 3rd quarter.
They do have the ball, however, on the BC 37, 2nd down and 8. This drive started at midfield after Will Blackman turned it over on a punt return. And Orlovsky changes the play again. Play clock in the upper right-hand corner of your screen at 5 seconds. Brockington, and he is tripped up at the 33-yard line by Alvin Washington, the defensive tackle, who, if he doesn't make that play, Brockington picks up 5 or 6 more. Let's take a look at our ESPN game track. 3 quarters in the books, and Boston College got a touchdown early on a mistake on the kick return. Barnes fumbled it. BC came up with it, and 2 plays later, Peterson threw a touchdown pass. Other than that, it's been a stalemate. 3rd and 4. They got to get to the 29. Orlovsky has time, and the pass is batted down at the line. Kiwanuka picks it off. Bowman batted it in the air, and Kiwanuka comes up with the INT.
His athleticism makes him a top NFL prospect. He is considered the #1 rushing defensive end as an underclassman. And although he didn't get to the quarterback, you can see the athleticism in his ability to get in and make the play.
Well, he played tight end in high school, and he's got uncommonly long fingers. So he's able to reach in there with his hands, and even though he gets hit as he catches it on the hands, he wraps those long fingers around the ball. Look, as the ball comes down, he reaches with his hands, and then he gets hit as he goes down and still maintains possession.
So first down BC from its 35-yard line. Play fake. And Peterson in trouble. Or is he? And he nosedives to the 33. He was being chased by Ray Blackman. And there is an injured Boston College player down at the 25-yard line. Ty Hall. Make that Chris Miller back up tight end. Here's our ESPN game track.
Well, Connecticut controlled the third quarter. 10 minutes of possession, but no points.
No points, and they have the ability to score. They've got comebacks in their history, especially with Orlovsky as quarterback. Here they had the opportunity at the end of that drive in the third quarter, and Newsy hits it off the upright. But Connecticut is still in it because they've got an outstanding quarterback and exceptionally fast receivers. The problem, BC's defense has been doing a nice job of shutting down the big plays. And BC will need that as they move into the ACC next season. Part of the reason they want to go is they feel it will improve their visibility. It'll improve their national recognition of their school. They have won 4 consecutive bowl games. No other team in America has done that, and yet when they knocked off Penn State last week, everybody outside of this area was stunned and thought that BC came from nowhere. Well, they didn't come from nowhere, but not a lot of people know about it, and that's one of the reasons that they're excited about moving to the ACC. They think it will raise the profile of their program.
Well, they're excited about the money. There's no question about that, but the one thing that they haven't been able to do is attract and recruit students from the South. They've done it everywhere else, but they don't regard themselves as a national university until they get students from all areas.
And they're putting some money into some facilities to help recruit some of those guys from down south. They're putting $26 million into an athletic center and football facility that'll be ready next spring. This used to be artificial turf. It's now the field turf that was installed here at Alumni Stadium last year. They put a couple $1 million into that. Swing pass to the far side at the 40-yard line. It's pulled in by the fullback Palmer, and Perkins makes the tackle for UConn.
You know, Dave, we talk about the money with the move to the ACC. What gets overlooked is the academic aspect of it, that 6 of the top 41 rated schools by U.S. News and World Report are in the ACC, and Boston College wants to be associated with them for academic collaboration, talking about schools like Virginia, Georgia Tech, Duke, and Wake Forest. Certainly some of those outstanding schools in the ACC, and you can't forget North Carolina.
And the presidents of those schools are getting together here within a couple of months to talk about how they can collaborate, share library resources, share professors and students, get together so that they can make the sum of the parts, or the whole, greater than the sum of the parts. And the sum of the parts is pretty spectacular when you look at the individual institutions. Now when they get together and collaborate academically, it'll be a great thing for everybody.
Reset the game clock, 13-24.
James Hargraves, starting linebacker, had to go out of the game because of injury, so we'll see what UConn does here against BC on 3rd down and 4.
You know, Tom O'Brien clearly cares about academics. He has a 100% graduation rate, and he says, that's my deal with the players. It's not that big a deal. We bring them here to play football. My job is to make sure they graduate.
Former Marine, and was at the Naval Academy as well, but says that that reputation as a hard-nosed guy because of that military background is not entirely true, as Adams makes the grab and then is hit late again at the 48-yard line after he got the first down. Dante Moore was the man that hit Adams late.
Now see for yourself, he's clearly down, and there's the late hit. That's another one of those you must think, and that's not thinking.
And that is very unfortunate, Rod, because UConn's team is a lot better than the results that they're getting right now. They only, they've only given up 17 points. Part of that on turnovers. At the same time, they should be at least even, if not ahead right now, because of the way they've played. The difference has been really thoughtless penalties.
And BC was penalized 21 times in the first 2 games and only 3 times tonight. So BC with a first down inside the Connecticut 40-yard line at the 37. 2 minutes gone by in the 4th quarter. They run it to Callender, and he dives to the 34-yard line. And if you're BC, you keep the ball on the ground here, guys, with a 10-point lead and 13 minutes to play.
Well, I don't know that they're going to be able to keep the ball on the ground when they face a 9-man front. I mean, they ran right into the teeth of all these guys. Look at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 right there, and there's a 9th one right there. You can't see them, and you're running right into that. That's tough.
That is tough, but that's going to open up the passing game. UConn can't go to this well very often, but they're like Virginia Tech in this way. When they want to take away the run, they don't do it halfway. They bring them all up.
They got 8 in there again, and Peterson with a play fake, and he's going deep for Adams, who's got everybody beat. Touchdown, Boston College. Second touchdown pass of the day for Peterson, and second touchdown catch of the year for Adams, who blew by 2 UConn defenders after that beautiful play fake by Peterson. They set that up, didn't they, with that run?
Oh, yeah.
The extra point good, 24-7 BC.
And Dana Bible, the offensive coordinator, saw what we saw with that 8-man front, and he said, wait a minute, I'm not going to run at that thing. I'll throw over the top.
And he did. And now BC leads by 17. That is one brave lady, and it's probably a good thing for her sake that Connecticut isn't up 24-7. She is in a sea of yellow jerseys, and
Who gave her that ticket?
They brought out shirts tonight that say "No dogs allowed." I know that was not in reference to her in particular. It was in reference to UConn as a team. But, hey, she's hung in there, though. She's staying in there even though her team's down 17, and she's probably getting taunted. On the return, it's Branch past the 20 into the 23-yard line. And Silva, who went out earlier in the game with an injury, comes up with the play on special teams for BC.
On that touchdown pass, Boston College was facing all those guys, that front. 7 there, 1 more that made 8 in the box. Peterson sees it. The offensive coordinator, Dana Bible, saw it. They pick it up with great protection, even though they faced an 8-man front, and it's easy pickings.
And Dana Bible has been waiting for this all game long. He told us yesterday that UConn plays a Virginia Tech style of defense, and when they overload you extremely. Everything is extreme. And so on the second extreme overload, he went over the top for the score.
Orlovsky's got to cut it loose now. First down at the UConn 19-yard line. Orlovsky in trouble. Sacked. Tyrone Pruitt, backup linebacker, makes the play.
They know Orlovsky's got to sit back in the pocket now and throw in deep. There's no more time to drive down the field. And Pruitt is able to come completely unblocked. Orlovsky doesn't see him, but now we can expect more blitzes because they can expect Orlovsky to have to sit there and wait for deep routes to develop.
Wasn't that a bad protection call? I mean, you have no back to that side. You've got the tight end on that side releasing, and the linebacker was already situated out there.
It wasn't a bad protection call. He was unaccounted for. The quarterback needs to know that and throw it hot. Either the quarterback or the receiver on the hot route didn't see it.
On 2nd and 20, Orlovsky, they're trying to set up the screen to Brockington. And Brockington gets to maybe the 13 before Ray Henderson drags him down, along with Tyrone Pruitt. Into about 4 yards of the play. 3rd down and long coming up. Ray Henderson, the Big East co-defensive player of the week. A couple of interceptions last week in the win against Penn State. Now BC is showing again tonight, thanks to Frank Spaziani's defense, that they're going to be a force in the Big East Conference this year in their final year in the Big East before going to the ACC. We'll get a good, maybe a better feel for West Virginia tomorrow when they play Maryland at noon on ESPN2. Pass caught. No, not caught by Williams at the 25. Incomplete. Blackman on the coverage, and UConn will be forced to punt.
As West Virginia, they've got their work cut out for them since they've struggled with Maryland. I think they've lost 4 in a row to them.
But K.J. Harris is gimpy for this game. He may or may not play, and if he does, he might be limited, and that's what Maryland has going for him heading into Morgantown.
Will Blackman, who had trouble with a punt off Hussar's foot the last time, went off his face and into the arms of Perkins for UConn. He's waiting in midfield. Blackman drops it again, but then it bounces right back to him at the 49-yard line. 38-yard punt. BC's offense back on the field, leading Randy Edsall's team by 17 points in the fourth quarter.
ESPN2's College Football Primetime, brought to you by Labatt Blue. Break out the blue. And Acura. Experience the performance today at your local Acura dealer.
Boston College leads Connecticut 24-7. 10.5 to play in the fourth quarter with Rod Gilmore, Trevor Maddich, and Rob Stone. I'm Dave Pash. Andre Callender gets the handoff and takes it inside UConn territory to the 47-yard line. John Fletcher on the tackle. Callender right around 100 yards rushing. In 114 in his first ever game. I think Dana Bible is starting to get a feel for what plays he can call for Callender after tonight.
Yeah, just about any that wind up with the ball in his hands.
He's pretty good.
Yeah, he's made guys miss. He's showed you some speed, and he's been durable.
And you know what else? For a freshman, he has held on to the football. Has not fumbled.
Well, they've had 6 straight years with a 1,000-yard rusher, and also 6 straight years with an offensive lineman drafted at BC as Callender gets it again. Gain of about 1 or 2 on the play. How much, guys, of what we're seeing from BC tonight is what we've seen over the last 6 years with guys like Mike Cloud, over 1,000 yards in '98, Cedric Washington in '99. And then former first-round draft pick William Green for 2 years, thanks in part to a big offensive line. And then Derek Knight for 2 years.
And somebody's got to block for these guys to get so many rushing yards. And BC's known as O-line U. And you've got a lot of guys that have gone into the NFL from this team. Pete Colombo, Chris Snee, Tom Nalen. Some of them not very highly rated coming in, but very highly rated going on to the next level. They developed them at Boston College. 0
on the play clock, so flag against Boston College. It even goes back before Tom O'Brien was the head coach. Guys like Pete Kendall in the mid-90s.
Yeah, and there are reasons why, though. I mean, many of the offensive linemen that they recruit to Boston College come from New England, come from Pennsylvania. This is where the weather is cold, work is hard, and there's a tough, hard-scrabble mentality. So they take some guys that are not highly rated coming out of high school. They take that toughness and they build the skills that allow them to go on to the next level. Now when you look at guys like Jeremy Trueblood or Josh Beekman that are starting on this line that are highly regarded coming out of high school, they come here because of that legacy.
3rd down and 10 for BC. Peterson hit as he throws. What a catch by Adams. Inside the 25 before Dante Moore makes the stop. Gain of about 26 and a first down.
How happy is Tom O'Brien that Adams came to one of his summer camps? Back when he was a sophomore in high school, he started coming to the Boston College camps. It's a new recruiting tool. You get kids in, you look at them, you figure out if you like them. And this guy has turned into a tremendous player for them because he started coming to their camps when he was a high school sophomore.
Adams, a graduate student, graduated with a degree in finance. Dana Bible told us if he's running IBM in about 15 or 20 years, don't be surprised. Callender gets maybe 2 before Fincher makes the stop. Adams may have a chance in the NFL. He's 6'1", 200 pounds, showed speed on that touchdown catch.
Yeah, and I think people overlook the value and the advantage of those camps. Here's a guy that really wasn't high on their radar screen. He was not the superstar, but because he was at that camp, he became a player they wanted. Now, the guys who are superstars, it's a different game. You've got all the schools trying to get you to come to their camp so that they can recruit you legally a little bit ahead of time.
We talked earlier about Dan Orlovsky coming to BC's camp for 3 years when he was in high school, but BC didn't want him, and UConn did. And even though this hasn't been his best night, and he definitely has a future in pro football.
Well, a lot of times this is where you'll find those gems hidden under rocks. When you look at Boise State, their starting quarterback, Jared Zabransky, who's a budding star, he came to their camp. He was a potato farmer from a tiny town in Hermiston, Oregon. Nobody really knew what he could do, but when he came to Boise's camp, they learned about his character and they took a chance on him, and he has turned into one of those gems. You've got to uncover gems like that to be able to compete at the highest levels.
3rd down and 7. BC with an excellent night, better than 50% on 3rd down. Peterson gets out of trouble. How about that knee breaker move to the 13-yard line? Maurice Lloyd gets faked out on that play. Very close to the 1st down marker.
Does this remind you of anybody who used to wear that colored jersey, number 22, maybe 20 years ago? Think of a name? Flutie?
He looks like him there.
Peterson has so much fun, and that's where I think he's most similar to Flutie. The love of the game. Flutie, several years ago, playing quarterback for the Buffalo Bills, beat the Minnesota Vikings in Buffalo. After the game, he was on the field playing touch football with his buddies after beating the Vikings. This is the love of the game.
Callender on the call, not much, maybe lost a yard as Lloyd makes up for his miss on Peterson and makes the play there along with Fletcher. But you know, a lot of times, guys, those things are thrown out, those comparisons, because of where guys went to school. But we asked both Dana Bible and Tom O'Brien if it's legitimate to compare Peterson to Doug Flutie, and they both said yes.
It's the style of play, and I think part of that is because they've gone so long here without a quarterback who has that kind of athletic ability. They've had the bigger, stronger guys, but you know, now you got a guy who can get to the edge and throw on the run and run with the ball and be exciting.
Be exciting, and who loves the game most when it breaks out of the structure of the offense and he can create.
Here he's creating again and throws that one up for grabs, but luckily out of play for Boston College. He also kind of reminds me a little bit of Joe Hamilton when he played college football. Now he's a backup quarterback in Indianapolis.
He was a rambling wreck at Georgia Tech.
Another short guy that moved around and made plays and had a strong enough arm to make some plays downfield.
There's a place for guys like that in the college game. So it's more difficult to find a place for him in the NFL.
Well, Peterson doesn't really even know he's short. Look at that elbow. Look at the bloody elbow. I mean, he's playing. He's enjoying it. He's down. The only thing we don't have for him here is mud on this field turf, but I think he'd be just as happy as an offensive lineman if we had mud here tonight.
24 years old. He's been married for 2 years. Looks a little bit younger than 24.
He and his wife made the 2,500-mile or so drive from Utah to Massachusetts. Megan in the car with him. But you know something? The dog got to fly here.
How about that, huh? The dog gets the ticket to fly.
Well, I think that's how you stay married if you're going to drive 2,500 miles, is keep the dog out of the car. One thing they did learn when they first got here, though, no Yankees hats. It's Red Sox only, or you're in some kind of trouble.
And he's become a Red Sox fan. Won the starting job over Quentin Porter. In the spring, they elected to redshirt Porter. There's Callender running to the left side to the 20-yard line. So Randy Edsall's UConn Huskies are likely going to lose their first game of the year unless they can stop BC here and get some points. But Edsall is building something at Connecticut. 9 games last year. And he's a Tom Coughlin disciple. He's been able to recruit guys. We talked earlier about the fact that on defense they don't have any starters from the state of Connecticut.
Well, they will grow from this experience tonight. I think they came in just a little bit too tight, and I think he was too tight as well.
Oliger from 37 yards, and he is 2 for 2 in his first game kicking field goals. The true freshman from Newark, Delaware, makes it 27-7 Boston College.
The Boston College student fan base a bit apathetic until an ESPN game back in 1998. Virginia Tech came to town. Student body wanted to get their whole section dressed in gold, so they created this phenomenon called Super Eagles. And what they do is, how you doing? They hang out these Super Eagle t-shirts at the end of freshman orientation. They got something different on the back. Turn around for me. All right, they got something every year. Soaring to glory. What year are you? I'm a freshman. All right, so that's the freshman motto. Now, I don't, hold on. Well, this is gone.
That would be a mosh pit there,
You
Rob.
get the idea, right?
We lost him.
Rob maybe needs to get on that Trevor Maddich weight program to bulk up if he's going to go in there amongst the crazy BC fans. Have we found Rob? Is he alive?
Kim, you want me to tag?
Where is he?
Now, my question, though, is what year are you here at Boston College?
Well, this is just my second year because my son's playing number 78.
Oh, we got to tie it.
You think I would do this for nothing?
I just wanted to know what kind of medication you were on when I saw you.
Well, this started in high school. He had one about 80 pounds, another hat there, and he wanted me to do the same thing for college football.
Do you have any neck problems wearing that thing? How much does it weigh?
I have no neck. It's gone.
Rob, if you can get that hat and bring it up to us, you'll be our best friend. Brockington past the 35-yard line to the 36. You talk about soaring eagles. What is that thing? Wow. It's a shrine.
You know, there's got to be an award for parents. Long-suffering.
Ty Hall out of Cincinnati, Ohio. That's his dad there with the wild.
You know, right where the camera is, too. He was looking right up at us.
And we do understand that Rob has made it safely out of there. Orlovsky trying to dump it off, and Brockington wasn't paying attention.
Well, check out the bottom right of your screen. Kiwanuka. We've told you about him all night long, as well as Orlovsky, and they meet once again.
Look at the explosion. When he gets there, he doesn't just mush into him and take him down. He has that pop in the last 6 inches, and that's one thing that the NFL likes about him, the explosion.
They'll hook up in the NFL, both of them.
Yeah, Kiwanuka, 6'7", 260, probably can still gain a little bit of weight and keep the speed. Led the Big East in sacks last year, as that pass is complete to the 44-yard line. But Kiwanuka was not highly recruited, was mainly a basketball player because he is 6'7", but he has speed and power.
Well, he was only 195 pounds coming out of high school. It was Jeremy Trueblood who was being scouted, and they checked him out. And so when they found him, they said, you got to put weight on him. He's been growing ever since he got here.
Good throw by Orlovsky. That pass is pulled in by Kataya inside the BC 45-yard line.
What did he tell us? He said he used to do things like eat a couple of pizzas and was on creatine and decided the creatine wasn't good for him. It was bad weight he was gaining, water and stuff, and he eats healthy now.
He does, and I'll tell you, his mom had him eating healthy when he was growing up. She worked 100 hours a week as a nurse to keep him and 2 of his siblings in private school in Indianapolis. What a wonderful, wonderful story that is.
Pass complete to the sideline as we're seeing Orlovsky make a lot of throws on this drive. Kataya with another catch. Guys, now that you've had a chance to watch Orlovsky, how do you rate him in terms of an NFL prospect?
I have no clue. I've seen him make great throws underneath. I've seen him read the underneath defense, but Randy Edsall has not unleashed him. He's not allowed him to throw down the field, and so he's working with a very limited offense. Within that limited offense, short passes, pick apart the underneath zones. He's done well, but what has he done down the field? We haven't had a chance to see it today.
Well, I like him, and I think he hasn't gone down the field because they can't protect him.
That's because of number 94. Kiwanuka has been in the backfield a lot today, and there's a pass that's tipped, and it's still caught. No, going to be incomplete. It did hit the ground on the redirection, even though it looked like McLean almost pulled it in. Up next on SportsCenter, Linda Cohn and John Anderson get you caught up on the day's sports news and highlights, including Red Sox and Yankees. They were in a rain delay for a while. Boomer's 2-minute drill and final drill coming up on SportsCenter.
I like Orlovsky's arm. I like his footwork in the pocket. I like his size. I like the intangibles. He never seemed to fold in this ball game when they were behind.
One thing that I think will help him is that he's a guy that likes to study. He stays late, watches tape with the coaches, and the scouts love to hear that when a guy puts in the extra time in the tape room.
And he's mentally tough. His roommate is the middle linebacker, Alfred Fincher, and they will go out at 2 in the morning sometimes together, run stadium steps at the stadium. And last summer they were doing that when the police were called. And they showed up, and it was those two running stadium steps, yelling at each other, taunting each other. And so this is a guy that doesn't just have the physical tools. He's got the mental toughness and the desire to get better and learn more.
UConn forced to go for it on 4th down and 3, down by 20 points. Remember, this is the first ever official Big East Conference game for UConn. It has held its own as Orlovsky tries to thread the needle there, and it's incomplete. TJ Stansel with a good hit on Jason Williams. And Boston College playing in its final Big East campaign before going to the ACC next year, and will likely be among the top 2 or 3 teams in this conference this year. Will take over with a 20-point lead.
For Boston College, you have to start thinking about where they fit in the national scope of things. They're not in the top 25 yet. They'll go to 3-0 after tonight with an impressive win over Penn State last week and a controlling win tonight for all intents and purposes.
They will have won 6 straight games going back to the end of last year, and this will be the first time that they're 3-0 since 1998. Running play to A.J. Brooks, true freshman from Orlando, Florida. Gets a couple there. Actually, they're going to say that his knee was down at the 37-yard line as we look at the BC upcoming schedule. A lot of road games.
Well, after tonight and going 3-0, I think you have to think that they will wind up in the top 25. I mean, assuming that there's some losses and over the weekend, and there will be, this team should make an appearance in the top 25 next week.
They do have a tough schedule ahead, at West Virginia, at Pittsburgh, at Notre Dame. But this is a solid team, and they're solid where you need to be. Offensive and defensive lines, quarterback, and they've discovered tonight a running back.
Here's A.J. Brooks. Cuts it back inside. What a move by the true freshman Brooks, and it gets him another 20 yards to the UConn 40. Well, we said coming into the game that there are a lot of guys without names, but some of these guys are establishing themselves for BC tonight.
And they're showing the coaches what they can do. Tom O'Brien, Dana Bible, every bit as much curious about how their stable of young backs would do tonight as we were. And Andre Collender, A.J. Brooks now have shown that they can have a burst, they can hit a hole, they can break a tackle, and they can hold on to the football and not fumble. You can count on a guy that can do those things.
First down at the UConn 40-yard line. And this time, Brooks is wrapped up and thrown down by Tyler King in the backfield. By the way, the Yankees lead the Red Sox in the 7th inning 2-1. So I'm sure the fans here in the stadium will try to get to a TV or radio as soon as possible to catch the end of that game.
You know, I've never been to Fenway Park, but I drove by it last night. It's something, and they're going to add more seats to it. Another 2,000 seats or so.
And Fenway is amazing. That green monster looms. And the Red Sox coming into this game tonight against New York led the series over the season 8-5. And so this is an opportunity, a rare one, for the Red Sox to have it over the Yankees.
There was some rain there, but we got lucky. No rain here. And, you know, weather has been such a factor in college football this year. Looks like Auburn is going to play tomorrow, though, despite weather problems.
Well, they've got LSU into Auburn. The good news is, though, today it was 80 degrees and sunny. Their field at Auburn is the high-tech natural turf that's got sand and gravel and piping underneath. They can actually accept 10 inches of rain an hour, but this storm only glanced Auburn. They only got 4 inches total, so it will be a dry and fast track tomorrow. SportsCenter
coming up next here on ESPN2. with highlights of that Yankees-Red Sox game and a preview of tomorrow's college football games as well as the NFL on Sunday. Under a minute to go now in the fourth quarter. Not much running room there. And it'll be fourth down for BC as Brooks is taken down. So Boston College has allowed just 2 touchdowns in 3 games. But we keep talking about their offense. They're pretty good on defense, too.
They're not bad. I really think Matthias Kiwanuka is an outstanding prospect. He's going to have a special season. This is only his 2nd year as a starter. Remember, he had 10 sacks last year in his first year as a starter. He's still learning the game.
And the quarterback, Paul Peterson, 6-0 now as the starter at Boston College. That includes a win over Virginia Tech last year when they were ranked. A bowl victory, the 4th straight for Boston College, the longest active streak in college football. A win over Penn State last week and a win tonight in the Big East opener over UConn. And we're waiting to find out whether they're going to force BC to run one more play here after an offensive penalty. And that's what they're going to have to do. They're going to just have to take a knee and the game will be over.
2 seconds, please. 2 seconds on the clock.
This had the potential to be a great rivalry, but it won't be since BC is leaving the Big East.
Only 90 miles apart. Randy Edsall and UConn had played BC each of the last 2 years. This is the first and the last official Big East meeting between the 2 schools, and it's unlikely that they will be on each other's schedule for the foreseeable future. It's a rivalry that never was and never will be, and Boston College wins it tonight. 27-7 is our final score. Sports Center Salute the Troops is up next. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com. Rod Gilmore, Trevor Maddich, Rob Stone, and our entire ESPN2 crew, Dave Pash, saying so long from Chestnut Hill, Massachusetts. Sports Center is next.
Will it be a Saturday of upsets in college football? Our experts think so.
Contestants on